So good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here today. I want to go back to my first screen. So we're already having technical difficulties here. Thank you for being on our webinar this morning. The webinar is regarding membership. So we're going to give an overview of what it means to be a CRA member and just kind of provide you an overview of some of the key members benefits that come along with membership. We are recording this call today, and we will send that link out after our webinar. But I want to jump right in. My name is Yvette Tavares. I'm the membership director for the Connecticut Restaurant Association. And we also have today Scott Dolch, our executive director. Most of you have probably either seen him before on a webinar or in the media these days, or you've met him in person. Scott, of course, you probably know, is very hands-on and very accessible. He would meet all of you face-to-face, probably will at some point. So we wanted to have him this morning. He can only be with us just for a couple minutes, but Scott wanted to be here today just to welcome everybody and to thank you for your engagement with the Connecticut Restaurant Association. So Scott, do you want to come off mute and have a few words?
Sure. Thanks, Yvette. Good morning, everybody. I appreciate you guys taking some time here this morning to hop on. I know we have current members. We've got people that aren't members as of yet, but I think the biggest thing right now for everybody here, and I talk about it a lot on all of our other kind of conference calls or webinars, it's not about, truly about membership dues right now. It's about survival for you and your industry. And we're trying to work as hard as we can as an association at a state level, even down to a local level, to help you with that, but also on a federal level as well. You guys obviously know the work that we do with the National Restaurant Association, and I do have to hop off. I apologize. I have a call with their public affairs team down there. We're continuing to talk through kind of what's going on in another round of COVID dollars. There's talk about a potential $1 trillion bill in DC and what that would mean for us as an industry. And obviously we are trying to have our hand out and making sure that they're not going to forget about, additional help that our restaurants are going to need. I lead with that with the federal side to make sure if everyone on this call should have received a PPP loan. If you have not received a Paycheck Protection Program, I say loan, but they're really a forgivable grant. Please reach out to us immediately. There's about $125 billion still left over in that program for all small businesses to take advantage of that. So we know that was really a Band-Aid on a federal level. We know it's helping, and there's been the Flexibility Act. There's been a lot of things that have helped with those dollars to make it actually worthwhile for our restaurants in Connecticut, but we also know there needs to be more on the horizon. And that's, we know this probably bill that they're putting together with all the delegates in Connecticut that I'm talking to, as well as the National Restaurant Association. We feel like this $1 trillion bill will probably be the last big ask right now. Hopefully, if there's no second wave of COVID dollars, we want to make sure we have an opportunity to get there with that. So that's obviously a little bit insider of what we're dealing with on a federal level, what we're trying to do to help you guys on a state level. Obviously, we're continuing to try to work with the governor's administration to move the ball forward. We've definitely worked extremely hard as a staff with our entire team here to get us into kind of, I guess, the middle of phase 2. We're about to hit almost 4 weeks of indoor dining. Will be Wednesday, would be tomorrow, which is, I think we're 7 or 8 weeks of outdoor dining. We've done a tremendous job of keeping our employees and customers safe across the state. And it's shown in our numbers. We had another great day yesterday of numbers over the weekend of more declining. I think we had another decline in hospitalizations. Our positivity rate is about 0.6, 0.7%. When you compare that to the states in the South and that surge that's going on, I mean, they're anywhere between 8 to 16% of positivity rate. We have been nowhere near that since March or April. Obviously, there's concerns there of it potentially creeping up into the Northeast, but we continue to follow the rules and regs. I think, we hopefully will not see that second spike and wave for the state of Connecticut, and we can get to what I hope for, phase 3 in the coming weeks. And I know there's a couple of private events. Some of you guys do catering. People on the call today, just to give you guys a heads up of what else is going on this week. You'll get an email tomorrow. We're going to have a conversation, or you get an email today. We'll have a conversation tomorrow with Congressman Larson, if you guys want to, one of our delegates, obviously, in the district, kind of Hartford County district area. He's going to get on a Zoom call with us just to talk about what he's hearing in DC and talk a little bit about the federal side. Then Thursday, we actually have a call with kind of the events, catering, private event side with Governor Lamont directly. I'll be on that panel to kind of talk through getting us into what phase 3 could maybe look like, or a 2.5, 2.5, a way to kind of increase the private events, the gathering sizes for that, as soon as we possibly can, because we know how much it's hurting that industry. So I know Yvette's going to go into a lot more details about what the CRA does and where your membership value should be. Obviously, you need to take, full advantage of us as a staff, not only during these COVID times, but in other times to try to help you in your business, because our job at the end of the day is about helping you succeed. And obviously right now it's about survival and helping you get through this. So I really appreciate you guys taking some time today. My email is on the end of this slideshow. If you don't have it already, it's just my last name at ctrestaurant.org. So dolce@ctrestaurant.org. Feel free to shoot me an email at any point if you got individual questions or concerns or things that are going on. And obviously, again, I thank you. I thank everybody in the industry again for your support of our association. I think we've done some great things, but it's really been a big team effort across the state. So without further ado, I will turn it back over to Yvette. I apologize that I do have to hop off, but I do have a couple calls here. I got to follow up with the national. So thank you again, and I will talk to everybody soon.
Thank you, Scott. And of course, now I've got a little tickle in my throat, but I'm going to try to work through it. As Scott mentioned, membership has been something that we, once the pandemic started, we realized that we needed to make our resources available for the industry as a whole. And so, membership status became, not so much of an issue as we've been going through this pandemic. Some of the benefits that I'm going to talk about today, you'll see we opened them up to everybody during this time. Some of that will begin to start to close a little bit to where we do have some of our benefits that are member exclusive. So just wanted to mention that right at the top. Before we get into some of our membership topics that I want to cover today, I just want to remind everybody about the Connecticut Restaurant Promise. This is a campaign that we as the Connecticut Restaurant Association put together to offer to our restaurants in Connecticut. When you take the pledge or when you take the promise, this shows your commitment to the health and safety of your staff and of your guests and of your community on a larger scale. So if you haven't yet signed it, please go to the domain that you see there, ctrestaurant.org/promise. If you're not sure, you can click on Promise Restaurants and it'll show you a list of all the restaurants that have signed. We've had over 600 restaurants at this point sign the promise. When you do sign, we will send you, as you see in the image here, we'll send you the poster on the left to display in your restaurant, as well as the decal. You see the decal there, excuse me, to display in your door or window. Excuse me. And again, I mean, this is something that one of the things that we do, you don't have to be a member to sign the promise, but this is one of the things that we do as a association as far as marketing the industry. And our focus here is really to build consumer confidence so people feel comfortable going back out to dine, whether that's indoor or outdoor. We want our communities to feel safe coming back to Connecticut restaurants. So please take a moment to go ahead and sign the promise if you haven't done that yet. So just to give you an overview of what we're going to cover today, we want to talk about, as Scott mentioned, who we are as the CRA. What do we do? So we want to give you a little bit of idea of who we are if you're new to the CRA. I also want to talk about advocacy. This is probably, this is definitely the #1 reason why people join the association, and it's the most important work that we do as far as advocating on behalf of your business, on behalf of the industry as a whole. So I want to talk about that and how that connects to being a member. And then we'll also go over just some key benefits. There's far too many for me to be able to go over all of them today. We do invite you to reach out to us if you want to talk specific about your needs and kind of what your business needs are as far as benefits and programs and things that we have available for the CRA. But we're going to go over some of the key benefits that really everybody should kind of take a look at it, whether you're a new member or you're a renewing member. And then we'll go over onboarding for new members. This is also something where I have it listed here as new members, but we do encourage anyone who, even renewing members, to go through those onboarding steps at least once a year to really make sure you have, all your account information is up to date, but you also have access to our various member benefits, which we do update periodically. So we'll go over what that looks like. And then finally, we'll talk about how to become a member if you're not already a member. And I will say this, if you don't know whether or not you're a member, please go to our member directory, which is on our website. You can find the member directory there. If you just put in your business name, only members will show up there. I know that's a funny thing to say, but a lot of times I have people say to me, Yvette, I thought I was a member, or I've been getting your emails and going to your webinars, I thought I was a member. Or it may be somebody that might have lapsed a few years ago that doesn't realize that their membership's no longer active. And we're working to kind of close that gap, but I have heard that on occasion. So if you're not sure, please just go to the directory and search your name. We suggest everyone do that anyway, because you want to make sure you're listed accurately in our member directory. So again, that's just, if you go to ctrestaurant.org, you can find the member directory right on our website. So I want to go into the different types of membership. We do have different member folks on our call today, and just want to explain the difference between the two. And most of what we're going to cover today is going to be, it's broad, so it'll be relevant to both our regular members and our allied members, unless I identify that they are specific to one membership. So first we have our regular membership, and you'll sometimes hear me say restaurant membership, so I kind of use those interchangeably. But the regular membership is any restaurants, restaurant groups, caterers, kitchens, and other food service locations. And then allied membership would be those businesses providing products or services to the restaurant and hospitality industry. So allied members would be those ancillary businesses that touch the industry. So that may be your POS provider, or your food or liquor distributor. So anybody else, a business that is ancillary to the restaurant and food service industry in Connecticut. And as I mentioned, I do see both types of members on the call today. So I'm glad we have a good mix of folks on today. So I want to jump into who we are as the CRA, and I think this is something where I think a lot of you have either come to us recently in the last few months because of the pandemic and really kind of reaching out to who do you turn to when you need information or you need resources. We also saw a lot of new members come on board in the past year through our seminars and compliance seminars that we did across the state. We've had a difficult legislative landscape this year, and kind of some other compliance issues. And a lot of times what we find is people are introduced to us through that side, through our seminars and our webinars. But a lot of times I do get people say that I didn't know who you were, or I've heard of you before, but didn't really understand, what you actually did. So I want to start right here on covering what is the Connecticut Restaurant Association. So we are a not-for-profit trade association supporting the restaurant and food service industry in Connecticut through policy and legal advocacy. So as being part of the National Restaurant Association, we're also your state-level point of contact for information, resources, and programs to support your restaurant business. I'll talk about the National Restaurant Association a little bit more, but being a member of the Connecticut Restaurant Association, you also get dual membership in the National Restaurant Association. So all states in the country have a state-level restaurant association or hospitality association, and we all fall under the umbrella of the National Restaurant Association. Again, I'll go into that more in just a bit, but just wanted to point that out here. Some of you might not realize, but we also have a nonprofit arm. That's the Connecticut Hospitality Educational Foundation, or CHEF for short. We are a 501c3 dedicated to the training and development of our industry workforce. Through our chef program, we one of the things that we do is we support a high school culinary program called ProStart. We also provide culinary scholarships. So through our foundation side, this is really a way for us to invest and develop the next generation of industry talent. One of the things that you might have heard about in the last couple of months related to our nonprofit side is going to be the Connecticut, I'm just going to switch screens here, Connecticut Hospitality Employee Relief Fund. So shortly after the pandemic hit us in Connecticut with restaurants closing, we realized that we needed to do something to help to support employees that were out of work. We held an emergency board meeting for our chef board to vote on being able to actually modify our charter to be able to provide relief funds to industry employees. And with that, we launched on April 1st, so we moved very quickly to be able to make that happen. And we launched the Connecticut Hospitality Employee Relief Fund. So through this fund, we were able to provide emergency funds to hospitality workers across Connecticut. And you can see the summary here of where we're at. We had over 900 industry unemployed or underemployed hospitality employees apply. We are on track to issue over 300 grants. Those grants range from $250 to $500 each. We'll continue to issue grants so long as we have funds that continue to come in. You can see the grant awards. We've raised over $135,000. And again, that continues to come in as we continue to get donations. We had many fundraisers. You can see some examples there. We had from beer sales to trivia nights to t-shirt sales and book readings and live virtual concerts and more. So just very, very grateful to everybody who contributed to our Employee Relief Fund. And just thank you for everybody for making that happen to help us. You see at the bottom to help to support those that serve us year round. So that's a little bit about our relief fund and how it relates to our educational foundation. And moving on, we have, let's go to the next screen here. So want to start talking about advocacy. And just to let you know, I will pause a few moments to answer any questions, but you can feel free to use the chat function if you have questions as I'm going through some of this. As I mentioned, the advocacy is really what drives most of our new members to be introduced to the Connecticut Restaurant Association. And again, that's something that we see at all state associations. It's that work that we do to advocate on behalf of your business and of the industry as a whole. So through our advocacy initiatives, the CRA works to promote the restaurant industry's policy interests. And with that, you know, every year there's new legislative and regulatory issues that impact how your restaurant business operates. We take on that fight so you can focus on what matters most for your growth and prosperity. So we understand that you're busy driving your business. We work on the advocacy side on your behalf to support the health and the growth and the success of the industry. There are some times where I will have people say to me, Yvette, you're going to advocate on our behalf regardless if I'm a member or not. And that is true. In fact, the CRA was incorporated in 1961. So next year we'll actually celebrate 60 years. So during that time, in the last 60 years, the association has been here in Connecticut and has been fighting on behalf and advocating on behalf of the industry in Connecticut. So, you know, many of us weren't even born then, and the association was already there fighting for the growth and success of the industry. I think we all, you know, intellectually can understand how that comment, when I do get it, it's not really a helpful comment. We really kind of understand that, you know, if everybody had that mentality, we wouldn't have a voice. But I did want to take a moment just starting when I joined the CRA 1.5 years ago. I understood advocacy, but didn't really truly get it until I was, you know, had spent some time and really seeing the impact that it makes. So I wanted to share some of the connect by advocacy and being a member of CRA is so important. And I'm getting a little message that my connection's unstable. So if there's any connection issue, please just put it in the chat so I know. Or I know Emily's on, you can text me if I have any connectivity issues. Just moving on, the first thing is that as a member of the CRA, you have a voice at the table. I was on a webinar recently where we were speaking with minority and Black-owned restaurant owners. And there was somebody that spoke up and just organically said, if you want your voice to be heard, you have to have a seat at the table. And it was just so great that this person said that, because it really connected the importance of being actively engaged with your association on the advocacy side. So what we do, we fight on behalf of the industry as a whole. So, you know, there's several people on the call today. All your businesses are different. We all might have different opinions on what's right for the industry. We have to work on behalf of the industry as a whole. However, when we are, you know, looking at where our focus is, we reach out to our member base. We have our finger on the pulse of what's happening in Connecticut because of our members. And so with that, you know, we want to know what your pain points are. We want to know what, you know, your concerns and your questions and your issues are. And so in that sense, you know, for you to have your voice heard, being a member of your restaurant association is that first step. So that's the first point that I wanted to make, is really making sure you've got a voice at the table. And then we do legislative summaries and updates. So all of the legislative issues, and I mean, if you think about what we've been through with the pandemic, it's been a lot of information that changes on a rapid pace. We provide summaries for you and updates. As far as the legislative side, you know, throughout legislative session, we update our members on what's happening, what is the proposed legislation, what information do you need to know, when do you need to take action. After legislative session, we summarize that again and show, you know, here's how the laws have changed, here's how it impacts your business, this is the timeline that you need to be aware of. So now if you were to go and to do all that work yourself, it's a lot of work. Last year, I think we tracked 180 bills, you know, any of the ones that we could either support or kill, we do that, and then just bring to light sort of, you know, those top level issues that are most, you know, most to impact your bottom line. We share that information with you throughout the year. So that's a really, really important part of being a member, is just getting those summaries and updates. And then finally, as the CRA, you know, you met Scott Dolch, who does a lot of has our relationships with legislators and, you know, with the folks at the Capitol, and as well as at the national level. But we have a legal counsel and a contract lobbyist, or two of the best in the state. We have a long time relationship with them. They've been members and engaged and supportive of the CRA for many, many years. And they are the best at what they do. So when it comes to, you know, fighting, you know, legislative and regulatory issues, laws that impact your business, we have the team in place to make that happen. So I think, you know, if you were to hire somebody on your own, or even get together a small group of folks to advocate on behalf of your business, it would be thousands of dollars. And so that's where being a member of the CRA, part of your dues are going to go to our team being able to work together with our other partners that are also advocating on your behalf. And just to the next screen, this kind of sums it up nicely. You can see the quote I have there. Let me just minimize my screen here. So our ability to make a difference relies on the support from those within the industry. So as I, you know, mentioned at the top, when people kind of say, well, you're going to advocate on our behalf anyway, we need more voices to be involved. Just to give you an idea, we right now have almost 15% of restaurant and food service businesses in Connecticut as members of the CRA, which is great. We've grown a lot in the last 2 years. But if you look at other states on average, they're usually around at least 30% and higher. I think Rhode Island, Massachusetts are probably closer to 40% or above. So if you think about that, you know, the work that we've done in the last few years, or even through this pandemic, if you could imagine us doubling our member base, how much more powerful we could be. And that's where we need to have, you know, more restaurants and more allied businesses engaged with us as members for us to have a stronger voice. So just wanted to touch on that there. I'm going to go on to the next screen in a moment, but I'm just going to pause. I'm not sure I see anything for chat. If anybody has any questions on what I just mentioned on advocacy or anything else before I move on to benefits. I don't see anything in the chat function. So I'm going to move on, but again, just feel free if questions do come up to please enter them in the chat. So I'm going to go on to talk about benefits, and there's far too many for me to cover everything today. So I'm going to give you really kind of an overview and then go into some of the top benefits. I think that you know, I think when you consider, let's say you're a builder, you join the builder association, or you're a real estate agent, you're going to join your realtor association. Or if you're, you know, you've just turned 50, you're going to join AARP. I think we all understand that these are associations that advocate on behalf of their industry. But I think we also know there are other benefits that come along with those memberships. If you think about AARP, I mean, probably nobody really enjoys turning 50, but we all know that there's some benefits that come with it and discounts and all of that. So same thing with being a member of the CRA. Advocacy alone is enough of a reason to be an active member. Easily covers the cost of your membership for the value that you get on the advocacy side. But we want to make sure that we have a robust benefits program to give you that other value and really to kind of cover that cost of your investment. So I want to just give, again, a overview of what our benefits are, and then I'll get into some key benefits in just a moment. First would be the information and resources. We are your first point of contact for any questions that you may have or any resources that you need. We want you to reach out to us. We can either answer those questions or provide you resources, or we can connect you with an industry professional who can help. We have relationships with, you know, broad base across the industry, and so we can almost always get your questions answered. But with the information and resources, most of you know, you get emails from us. We do share a lot of information by email. Again, some of that we opened up during this time. We may be closing that back up just a little bit to members only, but you have those communications that we send. We provide educational seminars and webinars. Many of you found out about us from the webinars we've done over the past few months. But we also we had a lot of new members join us earlier this year when we did a statewide compliance seminar, and it was very, very well attended and very successful. So we provide those opportunities as well. And then we also have our info hotline, and I'll speak about that just a little bit more in a moment. We also provide education and development. I did mention our educational foundation earlier. We do also, within that, our education manager, Jennifer Conkling-Schmidt, also supports our ServeSafe program in Connecticut. So, you know, restaurants, you know, you're required by the state to take your ServeSafe manager. We host ServeSafe manager courses throughout the year. And we also have other programs that fall within ServeSafe that are available through the CRA. And there are member discounts for that, which I'll touch on in just a moment. ProStart is that high school culinary program that I mentioned to you that falls under our educational foundation. But then we also have other pieces and products that we're working to develop under the education and development side, including our job board, which we recently relaunched. That's free for members. And we are also working to develop some mental health programs and awareness opportunities through our foundation side. Moving on to savings and offers, I already touched on this a couple of times, and I'm going to go into a little bit more detail in just a moment. So I'm going to click through that and go on to the networking and events. So this would be one of the most fun reasons to be a member of the CRA is the events that we do. I listed just 3 of our signature events there. CT Eats Week we do in end of February, early March. That's the only statewide restaurant week in Connecticut. We do support that program and market the program and market any restaurants that are participating in that program. And that helps to support our ProStart program through our foundation. And then our annual golf classic, we do that event annually in June, typically just after Father's Day. So of course we were unable to host that. It's one of our most popular events. We have many restaurateurs who participate in that. It's for allied members on the call. That's probably one of our most popular events for our allied members. It's a fun event, and it gets you close access to restaurateurs and allied members to be able to kind of meet and engage with one another and just have a really fun day. And then Crazies, our Crazies event, it's the event of the year. It's the industry event in Connecticut. If you haven't been yet, you are absolutely missing out. Not sure what it's going to look like this year. We're still kind of hashing that out, but last year, we hosted the event in December. Last year we had nearly 700 people attend, and that was during, if you were there, you know it was during the biggest snowstorm we had last winter. and we still had almost 700 people show up. So that is our opportunity to celebrate the year and to recognize the best of the best. We award 15 awards for everything from best chef to best restaurant to best bartender, best server. We award the Hospitality Hall of Fame. It's truly the event of the year. So we hope you can attend that with us this year. So moving on, I want to cover, as I mentioned, I can't go into all the benefits, but I want to cover some of those top benefits that help to pay for your membership. So it is our goal to create a benefits program that that helps you to cover your cost of investment and in multiples. But again, there's a lot that we offer. So you know, it's really important for you to kind of look at what we offer and identify what makes sense for your business. I'm going to go over these in a moment, and I'm just gonna, let me see if I can just minimize my screen a little bit so I can show you this in a bigger view. I'm going to go through this right now. This document is available on our website under membership. It's available when you do onboarding, and it's also on my email signature most of the time. So if you email me or I email you something, you may see a link to this on there. Great document to review yourself or to share with your team. So I'm just going to jump into some of these here. The first benefit that I want to talk about is the pharmacy discount card. This is an easy no-brainer. This is a free discount card. There's nothing to sign up for. There's no membership. There's no fees. You simply share the link with your staff or for yourself. They just go on it and they can have the membership card just sent directly by email or by text. Very easy. They can print their card or they can just show it right on their phone. And as you see there, that allows your employees to save up to 80% on most prescription drugs at over 64,000 pharmacies nationwide. We know that health insurance benefits can be a challenge, especially if you're a smaller operator and you don't have the high volume of employees to be able to qualify for certain programs. This is a great program. It's even a great add-on if you do offer insurance to your employees, because it's so simple, it's so free. They may not have full pharmacy coverage, so this gives them a way to sort of supplement that, and it's so easy. So you can get that link by messaging us, or when you go through onboarding, there's an opportunity to select that you would like to have that information. I'm not going to go into the other health benefits that we offer. We do have many, including some partnerships with folks that can help go over some health insurance benefits. But there are other new programs that we've recently added, including telehealth, which is available just for our members. It's very low cost. And as you know, telehealth has become something that's been a lot more in demand and will probably continue as we go forward. So that's a simple program that's really easy to add, particularly if you don't have a robust health insurance program for your staff. We know that turnover is high in our industry, so the more that you can do to provide benefits like this to your staff, the better it is for retaining your staff and keeping them healthy. So just going to move on. And these next two here come to us from our legal partners at Siegel, O'Connor, O'Donnell, and Beck. As you know, in 2019, Connecticut passed the Time's Up Act, which includes new rules and requirements for sexual harassment training and education. So Siegel, O'Connor, O'Donnell, and Beck created videos that not only satisfy the state requirement, but they also offer scenarios that are more specific to the restaurant industry. And then they've created separate trainings for your non-supervisory staff and your managers. And we all know our managers have a higher obligation to, protect our business. Also, when it comes to things like harassment in the workplace, to have, to be able to recognize signs and to stop these sort of situations from happening, before they even happen, or to identify when there are those signs in the workplace. So really important to be able to offer both of those trainings to your staff. And these are free, completely free for our members. You would just message us to let us know. We will send you the links, the access links to the videos, along with the passwords. Again, this is available for our restaurant members as well as our allied members. So please take advantage of that. And then the next one is really, this is truly like your Bible. The Labor and Employment Handbook. This is a guide that Siegel, O'Connor, O'Donnell, and Beck, they've actually done this for us for many, many years, but they redo it on a regular basis as the laws change. But this is a comprehensive legal handbook, outlines the state laws and regulations for businesses operating in Connecticut, both general laws, but also any of the laws that are specific to the restaurant industry. So you might have some questions about tip pooling or the tip credit or things like that. That's all spelled out in this guide. It's free for our CRA members. Again, you just request it when you're onboarding. We've actually had non-members ask to pay for this. Not for sale, it's just for members only, and I'm not even sure we could put a value on it. It's that helpful. You really have to have one of those in your business location. Moving on, I already touched on this a bit with the webinars and educational seminars. Most of these are free for our members. We do, on occasion, there may be a charge if it's a little bit more of a comprehensive program that we host, but for the most part, our webinars and our in-person educational seminars are free for our members. There's typically a small fee for non-members. We usually will refund that if you join within a short amount of time of attending one of our seminars. But again, this is an invaluable benefit. We try to be as accessible as possible. That seminar that I mentioned earlier, we actually went to 4 different parts of the state, kind of centralized locations to be able to reach as many of you as possible. But this is our seminars may be on legal issues, they may be on legislative, on compliance issues. So really, and it's really good for us to get face-to-face and to see you and talk to you in person. So that's another great membership benefit, which is typically free for our members. And moving on, I talked about these next two, the job board and the info hotline. Both of these are free for members as well. The job board we recently relaunched. This is a restaurant and hospitality industry job board. These listings, you can see there 30, 60, or 90 days. There's no cost unless you do a featured listing. So, I mean, you can post as many jobs as you'd like, as often as you'd like on our job board throughout the year for free. So even this one alone, if you think about that, I want to say the listings are $50 per month. So if you are a non-member and you're paying that to be on our job board, that alone will pay for your membership if you've got a lot of job opportunities throughout the year. So that's really easy to use. You do have to have your login information to be able to access the free side of our job board, but it's very, very easy to do that. We can help you that also as a new member when you're onboarding. We can give you your login information. So that's the job board. And the info hotline, same thing, that's free to our members. It's, you can call or email us at any time with any of your questions. We do work really hard to get every single question answered, and that'll either be by us or we'll connect you with one of our industry partners who can get your questions answered. And then moving right along, let me just scroll up here. ServeSafe, I touched on this a little bit ago. As most of you know, especially if you're a food operator, you are required to have ServeSafe certification by the state. And our CRA members receive $20 off the non-member rate for the ServeSafe Manager course. That's the course that is required, so that meets the state requirement. We do offer other programs through ServeSafe, including ServeSafe Alcohol, which is the alcohol certification program. We do ServeSafe Allergen. Also not listed here is ServeSafe Food Handler. We do have a discount code for those programs as well, members only, which we can share with you if you have an interest in those programs. And then there also is a new manager training course that was just launched this year that helps to develop your managers, and that's called Serve Success. I mentioned Jennifer earlier as our education manager. She can answer any of your questions on ServeSafe. But again, make sure you're taking advantage of that member rate for your ServeSafe. And this last part here, I want to cover our endorsed partners and our allied members. And I talked about this just a little bit. So as I mentioned with allied members, these are businesses that provide products and services to the restaurant and food service industry. So these are the folks that do everything that you need to be able to operate your business. Just to explain the difference, our endorsed partners are longtime, dedicated, active supporters of the CRA that are committed to the success and growth of our industry. So these are folks, these are businesses that we've had a long time relationship with. They've been very active supporters of the CRA and of the industry for many, many years. They've been huge contributors to the CRA. We do vet out our endorsed partners, so these are the best of the best. And with that, so they not only provide, services that you need to run your business, but they are specially prepared and understand the unique needs, especially for restaurants in Connecticut. These are folks that really truly understand your needs. So through our Endorsed Partners program, CRA members are eligible for special offers on a range of services. So that could be from payroll services, business insurance, credit card processing, liquor permitting, healthcare programs, energy savings, music licensing, and more. When you onboard, we do give you a link to our Endorsed Partners program where you can see all of our endorsed partners, their contact information, and just kind of a brief summary of what they do and what they offer as far as exclusive member benefits or savings for CRA members. And with that, we also have our allied members. So as I mentioned, these are businesses that are members. They have a vested interest in the industry. They're active supporters of the industry. And being a part of the CRA shows that sort of commitment to the support of the industry. When you go to our member directory on our website, you can actually pull up all of our allied members and search, so if you're looking for a specific product or service, you can find all of our allied members there, including information on how to reach them and any, special programs or offers that they might have available to the to our CRA members. We really value both our endorsed partners and our allied members. We truly can't do what we do without them, and you can't do your business without them either. And so, it's really important that we have, as a whole, that we all work together to support our industry as a whole. So please, when you get a chance or you go through the onboarding, take a look at our endorsed partners and our allied members. And then the last benefit here, I'm just gonna, real quickly, I already touched on this one, but this is the National Restaurant Association. As I mentioned, when you are a member of the CRA, your membership includes dual membership in the National Restaurant Association. Now, this is for restaurant or regular members only. Allied members do have some programs that they can take advantage of through the National Restaurant Association, but the dual membership is just for our regular or restaurant members. So as I mentioned, the national, all the work that we do as the CRA here in Connecticut, the National Restaurant Association works at the federal level. I'm sure, as we've gone through, Scott mentioned the PPP. So all of the relief programs that we've been, facing in the last couple months, the work that is required or that goes into getting those programs passed, and representing the needs of our industry, that's where the National Restaurant Association comes in. So they've been fighting on your behalf at the federal level. But there's a lot of benefits, just like at the state level. As a CRA member, there's the advocacy benefits, workforce and development, education. They do a lot of research. There's a lot of insight and research materials that they make available to members, as well as discounts and offers through your National Restaurant Association membership. We do, kind of going through onboarding allow you to access some of the benefits that come through the National Restaurant Association when you onboard. So I think I'm going to pause again just a moment. I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint here and just see if there are any questions that anyone's got. I'm not seeing anything. Oops, didn't mean to move on, but I'm not seeing anything in the chat function. So I'm going to go on. We're making good time here. Wanted to talk about onboarding. So again, all of that information from advocacy to all the, the various benefits that come along with your membership, it can be a lot to kind of grasp at first. So we want to make sure when you join that you go through our onboarding steps. Again, I would encourage, if you're a new member or you've been a member for a year and you're renewing, or if you've been a longtime member, go through this. You just go to the URL you see there, the ctrestaurant.org/onboarding, and go through the onboarding steps to make sure you're taking advantage of the benefits that we offer, but we also guide you through some of the account setup steps as well. So if you see here, I'm just going to go over some of the things we cover in onboarding. Your first step is going to be an onboarding survey. This is very quick. It's about 2 minutes. And that guides you through the key steps that you need to take just right from the beginning. And that gets you things like your window decal, that your CRA member window decal, your, access to the sexual harassment training videos, your login information so you can access our member portal. Again, that's really important because you want to make sure you're appearing in our member directory accurately. So the onboarding survey kind of takes you through those key things that you want to do right up the top to make sure your key benefits are being addressed, and the access information that we need to send you, you can request that all through your onboarding survey. Then there are other sort of general onboarding steps and account onboarding steps. We are working really hard to improve our onboarding, so you will probably see some updates in the coming months and through the end of the year. But you can go through right on that page, the onboarding page, all the various steps to make sure that you've got, particularly your account information and your member portal access set up. And then we also provide the links for, as I mentioned, the benefits and the savings programs that we have available through the CRA. That's all provided during the onboarding. And then there are some other steps that are specific to restaurant members and allied members. For example, I mentioned the National Restaurant Association for our regular or restaurant members, and then allied members have some other additional benefits that they get that are not relevant to the restaurant members. Now with that, if there are any questions about your benefits or about onboarding, please let us know. We're happy to walk you through that in the beginning. You can contact us anytime at info@ctrestaurant.org. Want to move on now on how to join. So now that, if you've been engaging with the CRA for a while and haven't taken that step to join, we want to make sure you do. In order to really maximize the benefits that we offer through the CRA and to also help us to increase our voice so we have more power in the state. Just go to this link. You can also just go to our website and find the Join the CRA link there. But this link will take you to, or you'll have the ability to join either right online. You just enter your business information and your payment information, and you can submit your application automatically online. That comes right into our system. It's very easy. Or from there, you can print the application, fill that out, and mail it in with a check. So whatever option is better for you. I wanted to explain the difference with joining the CRA and the financial investment, so the dues that come along with membership. So first, just to cover regular membership, membership is a base rate of $400 per year. This is pretty consistent with other states. Going on here, if you're a restaurant group, you do have to join as your group. So the way that it works, if you're a restaurant group, so if you have multiple locations under one shared ownership, you would come in at the $400 base rate plus $200 for each additional location per year. So let's say you have 3 restaurants that are under your group. You would be the $400 base rate plus the additional $200, so your dues would be $800 a year. We changed our dues model. Last year was the first year we switched to this fixed rate model. It's worked very well. Most other state associations are switching over to a similar model. We previously were based on sales volume, and that was very difficult to manage, very confusing for our members. So basically your dues were based on how much you did annually in sales volume. We found the fixed rate to be more fair and equitable, kind of across the board, and easier for us to manage, and also easier for our members to understand and to sort of monitor. So again, it's just that base rate of $400 and then $200 for each additional location if you're a group. And with that, we do have some owners and franchisees that own multiple locations. Dues do cap out at $2,400. So that would be if you have 11 locations or more, it caps out at $2,400. And we do have several members that have that many locations under shared ownership. And with our allied members, much easier, much more simple. It's $400 per year. We are looking at down the road possibly doing some tiered membership for our allied members, so that would allow you to come in at different investment levels and receive different levels of benefits. But for right now, all allied members are $400 per year. You can, throughout the year, there are opportunities to take advantage of sponsoring certain aspects of what we do as the CRA. So there are opportunities for you to invest further if you wanted additional exposure. And again, as I mentioned, if there's any time you have questions, I'm going to share everybody's contact information here at the end, but you can always just email info@ctrestaurant.org, and we will forward that on to any of the CRA staff to be able to get your questions answered. One thing I want to mention with membership, and Scott mentioned this right at the top of the webinar, is that we understand this is a difficult year, whether you're, you know, a renewing member or you're a new member, and that everybody has sort of a different financial situation right now. We don't want the financial investment to keep you from being more involved with us. So I think if you have, you know, circumstances that you want to discuss with us, please reach out to us. Please don't let that hold you back from becoming a member. You know, as I mentioned, we're only as strong as our member base is, and our voice is only as strong as our member base is. So we need to have more people in a, you know, wide base of our industry from different business types to be involved with our association. And we're very dedicated to growing the association and expanding and having a visibility and having a presence across the state. As I mentioned earlier, you know, many of you have either met me or Scott or one of our other staff in person, and we're really, really committed to continuing that as we move forward and as we grow as an association. We'll happily come down if you want us to come down and, you know, check out your restaurant or your business. Please just let us know. So that's information on joining. And from here, I don't think we had any other questions throughout, and I'm just going to really quickly check the chat function if there are any other questions. Not seeing anything else come up here. We're all very good students this morning. If you do think of questions, as I mentioned, a lot of times, you know, if afterwards you think of something that comes up, please just send me an email, info@ctrestaurant.org. Here are all the contacts for our CRA staff. You see on the left is all of our CRA staff. And on the right is our, you see our lobbyist and our legal counsel. They are also accessible if you have questions and would like to reach out to them directly, please do. So again, if there are no further questions, I just want to thank everybody for being on the call today. I really hope if you're not yet a member, please join, please become more involved with us. If you are a member and you really want to discuss further how you can maximize your membership and leverage that investment to drive your business or grow your business further, please reach out to us. But just thank you so much for being part of this. We know it's been a really difficult year, and just taking the step to be more involved makes a huge difference. So we appreciate everything that everybody is doing to help further support the industry in Connecticut and all the hard work that you're doing. Please reach out to us as a resource, share this information. We will be sharing the video link once it becomes available. Please do share that too if you know somebody else that's interested in learning more. So with that, I'm gonna just end our session this morning. I thank everybody for being here, and I hope that everyone has a great week. Thank you.